A few years ago, the world went absolutely nuts for this fried chicken sandwich.
It's chicken chaos.
Long lines outside of Popeyes. It is so good.
And I mean, I get it. What's not to like? It's a delicious piece of crunchy fried chicken.
It's amazing.
Served on a delicious buttery bun with some pickles, some mayonnaise. It's really, really good.
This sandwich is excellent.
And that got me thinking, is it possible to make a delicious, crunchy, perfect fried chicken sandwich in the home kitchen? Today, I'm gonna find out because I'm gonna try and master the fried chicken sandwich.
Right.
Fantastic. Bon appetit.
It's better, yeah.
To start off this challenge, I think we need to get the sandwich that started this whole chicken sandwich craze off. And thankfully, just up the street from me here is a Popeyes. So we're gonna go in there, we're gonna get the classic chicken sandwich, we're gonna take it home, we're gonna deconstruct it, we're gonna see what we can learn from this, and I think it's gonna be a good baseline for us to start off making our chicken sandwiches. Let's go get one. Gracias. So we got mayonnaise, looks to be a pickle. Let's just open it up, I guess. It's a little bit bigger than the bun, and it's really quite crispy on the outside. A little piece fell. The bun looks almost like a brioche-style bun, if I had to guess. Let's give it a try. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to like that. It's crunchy. The pickles give that little bit of acid that goes really well with the fattiness of the mayonnaise, and the bun is really quite buttery as well. Even though it's fast food, it is actually a pretty well-rounded sandwich and a good starting point for us in this challenge. I think there are 3 core things that we need to get right when making our fried chicken sandwich at home. And the first is that delicious, crunchy outside that we saw on the outside of the chicken. There's a few more things. We'll talk about a few of them later. Let's start with the kitchen. Let's take a shot at making a fried chicken sandwich and focusing on getting that crunchy outside. So here I have chicken breast or white meat chicken. I'm going to butterfly this, basically just cutting it in half because a whole chicken breast is going to be too big for my sandwich. Once I've got them in their halves, we're going to talk about breading. I've got a little bit of a head start when it comes to making this chicken sandwich because I know how to make a breading. I've done it a couple of times before. Now there's a few different ways to make breadings, but my favorite is to do the 3-step breading process. We need something to dry off the chicken. I'm going to use flour. In the second bowl, we need our glue or an egg. Add a little bit of milk, which is going to help season this up a bit, but essentially the egg helps our breading stick to the chicken breast. And then on our last bowl goes our breading. I'm going to use flour and then just a little bit of salt and pepper to add a little bit of flavor, trying to keep the chicken first and foremost in this recipe. All we need to do is put our butterfly chicken breast into each of the 3 bowls. We're ready to fry, so in a deep frying pan, I'm going to add some neutral flavored oil and bring the oil up to about 375 Fahrenheit. Then I'm going to drop my breaded chicken breast into the oil, checking the oil temperature to make sure it stays at about 375. And then I like basting this with a spoon. This replicates deep frying, even though I don't have a deep fryer at home. Generally, you can go by look. When it's golden brown and delicious, it's going to be cooked inside. If you want to, you can check this with a thermometer, but I feel pretty good about this. So I'm already going to go off the recipe or off the Popeyes version. Still going to use mayonnaise, but I'm also going to add sriracha. You can add whatever hot sauce that you like. I really like sriracha. I think it's going to make a more interesting sandwich, a little bit more spicy. So let's quickly make a sriracha mayo. And the last thing that we need is some pickles. I've got these store-bought pickles from the store, which are proving very hard to get into. That's really on there. Success. So I'm going to take a few out, and I'm going to cut them down into slices like they were in the Popeyes chicken sandwich. And then I bought brioche buns at my grocery store, which I'm going to use, spread on my sriracha mayo, add a few pickles onto the bottom of the bun, and put my fried chicken in between, and let's give it a try. Attempt number 1. It's okay. Let's try one more bite. It's not horrible. Is it the perfect chicken sandwich? Nah, absolutely not. I guess this is gonna be harder than I thought it was gonna be. I don't think we have a great sort of crust on here. I mean, it's not very crispy. It's a little soggy. I mean, it doesn't taste like a lot. On the plus side, the sauce is actually pretty good. That's a win. I mean, these pickles are just kind of sad. I think the problem was this lacked a fair bit of flavor, which is the second component that we really need in a great chicken sandwich. Who makes incredibly flavorful fried chicken?
Howdy folks, it's me, Colonel Sanders.
How does Colonel Sanders in KFC get chicken that's so flavorful? It comes down to their secret 11 herbs and spices recipe.
But that's the Colonel's secret.
So in 2016, Joe Leadington, the nephew of Colonel Sanders, claimed to have leaked a handwritten note that had the secret 11 herbs and spices recipe. This is what it looks like. There are 11 things on here, so story seemed to check out so far. Let's use this as a way to season up the flour mixture that we made to see if we can amp up the flavor a little bit. Our spice mixture starts with salt, dried thyme, dried basil, dried oregano, dried onion powder, freshly cracked black pepper, dried mustard powder, paprika, dried garlic, dried ginger, and some white pepper. Now, the next thing that I want to do before we make version 2 of our chicken sandwich is make those pickles a lot better. They were pretty sad. Thankfully, making homemade pickles is really, really easy. I'm just going to take a cucumber, cut it down as finely as I can, and then in a separate pot, boil some water with some vinegar, some salt, any of the spices that I really want, and then add that right on top of those cut cucumbers and let it sit for a few minutes, and we're going to have pickles. That's immediately going to make these chicken sandwiches a lot better. We're going to have fresh, homemade, quick pickles is the best way to call this. So now to finish this off, I'm going to get my 3-step breading process back. This time, in the third bowl, I'm going to add some of that seasoning mixture, and I'm going to drizzle in a bit of the egg wash. This is going to make it super crunchy on the outside. You can see these little clumps here. These are going to attach to the chicken and make it really crunchy. Now we just need to repeat the exact same frying process that we did on the first one, and we'll have another chicken sandwich. I will say, just by looking at how crispy the patty is compared to the last one, this is already going to be a step up just on looks alone. The outside of the chicken is not only crunchy, but there's a lot of flavor going on this time. Takes this to a whole nother level. And the pickles, really nice piece of crunch, really nice piece of acid. So we've got a crunchy outside, and we've got lots of flavor on the outside. I can't quite put my finger on what's wrong. It feels like it should be juicier or something like that. There should be more going on the inside of the chicken. It's not quite the same. I can't quite put my finger on what's wrong with it. Let's go back to the computer.
We're making fried chicken and it's really yummy.
Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com.
The hype surrounding the release of a chicken sandwich continues. The Popeyes chicken sandwich is now leading to long lines and also reports the company saying reports of shortages here.
I am slowly going crazy. Maybe that's just as good as I can make the sandwich. Maybe it's time to accept defeat on this one.
Starting a Twitter war with Chick-fil-A and Wendy's.
So this one is just some guy, I don't know if he's from Chick-fil-A or not, talking about how Chick-fil-A makes their sandwiches.
The secret behind the Chick-fil-A, it starts out with this brine that we're gonna make.
I didn't even think about that. That is an extraordinarily good idea. Let's go back to the kitchen. So brining can take this process to a whole nother level. It can address that problem we've been having with the meat not being juicy enough. You can brine things a lot of different ways, but fundamentally, it's about putting your protein, in this case our chicken breast, into a salt water solution. The salt is gonna slowly start breaking the meat fibers or the proteins in the meat down. It's gonna make it so that the muscle proteins, the muscle fibers, basically the meat of the chicken is able to hold on to more moisture. Because of that, the juiciness is going to increase, and also because we're putting it in a saltwater solution, it's going to flavor it. It's going to add some salt, which is going to make it even tastier. I'm going to put it in the fridge for a couple of hours. We don't want raw chicken just sitting on the counter, otherwise bacteria is going to grow and all of that sort of stuff. The longer you leave the chicken in, basically the saltier it's going to get. For something small like this, a couple of hours is going to be pretty good. To make a little bit more of the sauce, a few more pickles. Let's fry this up and see if we have the perfect chicken sandwich. This is definitely it. This is definitely the perfect chicken sandwich. We have a delicious crunchy outside. It's full of flavor. And finally, with that brining, we have moist and delicious meat. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. See you next time.